And that's showing you the difference between the top and the bottom of the SPL in North America. But it's time for game 2. Into picks and bans as we go for this one. See if Flashpoint can change things up. I'm expecting maybe Anubis again? Oh, Aposh.
Different kind of objective control.
Like that,
I didn't really like it because now the thing about Outwatch is you have to set up the corpses to get that big oomph of the explode, whereas Anubis, you just melt it.
You do melt it, but you have to stand still to do so, which is also the issue. At least Alpasha can run around and let the clones do the work a little bit more.
That's true. But speaking of which, Alpasha is actually really annoying when you have some cooldown.
Oh, yeah. Any other mode outside of Conquest? OP. Susano Fafnir banned out by Luminosity, Osiris from Flashpoint, and Bellona to join that. We saw Terra last time. I won't be surprised if we see it again.
Well, Terra could be the option for Luminosity, and considering Jeff loves this god, gonna get locked in yet again for game number 2 here. Bellona and Osiris off the table for Flashpoint. They should prioritize their solo lane, I was going to say, and Nike so early in the draft. If you're going to go for Nike in the current meta for SPL, I don't think you necessarily needed it right here, right now.
And I think that's what Flashpoint need to adjust to. Yes, they're using a substitute in Madman Mark in the solo lane. You want him to find out what his comfort picks are, first of all. Clearly it was Hercules, and Nike is his second go-to. I would have liked him just wait off, because no one's going to pick solo lanes that early. You could wait till that third pick, totally, and then work out if that Nemesis is going in, and kind of pick something that's even safer against it, if possible.
Solo lanes do get picked pretty early in the draft compared to Bellona, Osiris, Robin. But if you're going for Nike, that could be later on. Hercules getting locked in for Luminosity. Scary D is probably going to try to show Madman Mark how to really play Hercules.
Like I said, I would have preferred Sun Wukong, but I don't know what Madman Mark's god pool in the solo lane is like, so I've got to give him the benefit of the doubt there that maybe he's not on the same standard of the SPL as Sun Wukong. That Sun Wukong gets him out of danger a lot. With the ultimate as well as the Ox form, he can get away from that Nemesis if required.
But not wanting to play this time around in game number 2 here. Ganesha being locked in for Shadowq yet again. Maybe this could be a good teamfight objective control that they're going with a Nike with the Ganesh. The problem is, if Flashpoint gets behind too early in this second game, they're not going to take full benefits off of the Nike passive.
I think the big key for Flashpoint is Mirage is such an important member of this team now. As one of the only remaining members of the team from the last split, he's established himself alongside Shadowq on this roster. He has to be a leader. I can see that's why he went for the Circuit last game, to try and give his team that snowball chance of, I am in the control, I will lead you to victory. He's doing the same sort of thing, but with a bit more CC and control with the Thor.
And more global pressure as well. It's not a bad idea to take this god and try to stick it to the dual lane, maybe out of Luminosity, but the Hades for Baskin here. You know, Baskin and Andy are pretty good friends, and I think they got something going with this Hades.
You reckon?
I think they're pretty decent friends.
I think that's just Luminosity going, well, you bought silence, you got silence, we'll get silence too. And maybe they thought Flashpoint would go for that Goobis again. And how's the Goobis versus Hades matchup? That's
not a very good one. There's 3 channeling. Oh, I'm sorry. There's more than just 3 channeling. You have Thor, Berserker Barrage, Nike's Ren, Ganesha's Anubis's Bleh.
Do that again.
Bleh.
What's Blur?
That's his one. Plague of Locusts.
Oh, that's what Plague of Locusts look like? Blur?
Blur.
Okay, cool. We learn something new every day with my co-casters. Steve Harvey one day, and the next day Blur is another thing. Good job, Tolly. Into game we go. And in the mid lane, it will be Baskin on the Hades, starting off with Sands of Time and Boots 1. Individual matchup between the two. Is there an advantage for Hades here with the silences coming into play?
Well, the way ManRay started at level 1 last game was he got his Plague of Locusts, right? To clear out the red buff. It was a 3-man start from Flashpoint to secure his own red buff, and now ManRay secures his third ability to be able to clear the wave instead without the fear of getting silenced.
Still not fully cleared though, which means Luminosity get pressure in that mid lane. They don't think that's enough pressure for themselves, however, to look to invade the speed or blue buff. Instead, they'll return to their own half of the map. Both the duo lanes started at the red buff, at least BaRRa and Jeff did by the looks of it, but they didn't pick up the buff just yet. They were doing the purple as Flashpoint did the same thing.
Min-maxing the duration that BaRRaCCuDDa would have the red buff. Normally we see this on junglers that don't want to get their speed buff right away. They'll help out their soul lane to get the blue, and then they'll go back to speed buff to pick it up, because speed buff is not going to help you kill the blue buff anyway, so you might as well hold on to that one. But the difference here in the duel lane was the fact that Shadowq and sops invested into using the frenzy to kill the red buff a little bit quicker.
Oh, mid lane, ManRay's out of position. The beatdown from Hades is always solid with those in-hands, and Baskin just timed the damage to perfection. He let ManRay think for a second he was going to live and then took his life away.
I think the last time we saw Hades get a solo kill was like season -0.5 when Lassus played Hades.
Okay, well, ManRay found out what Hades is like to face in the mid lane, at least in this game, up against Baskin. Baskin now looking at a cheeky rotation towards the duo lane here. Only bad news is I think it was called by Flashpoint that they were on the way, so Sops and Shadowq fall back to safety.
ManRay having to go for those back harpies, not wanting to go into that mid lane quite yet. Mirage, his teleport hammer's down.
1-on-1, and Mask giving chase still. The speed buff on both of them. Baskin wants to close the gap if he can, but he won't get in range. The slow coming out from ManRay will be enough to keep his jungler alive. But the pressure in mid lane is once again for Luminosity.
Even in solo lane, skirmishes getting the better end here against ManRay. And that's the one issue with Nike, is the fact that you just pick a god that can stop that Ren here. Yep. Driving Strike works wonders. And there's other options as well. You can even go Sobek for the knockup.
Or what you could do is what we saw exactly happen there. Hang on, Frenzy was popped here by Flashpoint, but it's Luminosity getting hot with the hands as you saw BaRRaCCuDDa dive in.
Oh, no.
And Mask was on the rotation at the right time. That was a GURT. It's not a GURT anymore. The GURT is gone. Over to Luminosity. Credit for the kill to Mask.
I'm surprised he used the ultimate instead of just finding the slice and dice. A nice push into the pull here, creating the distance he needed to. Oh no, but not having the stun that he needs to stop the Berserker Barrage, getting traded 1-for-1.
Important for Mirage to pick up that kill there, just to try and keep things even. Don't allow SkirmisHez to get even more of a lead. He's already got a substantial level lead over Madman Mark. With the teleport coming through, I hope we saw Mirage save some of that wave. He only saved a couple of creeps, but it was enough to get Mark to 5, which is very important to try and keep him in this lane.
That's true, but SkirmisHez will hit level 6 beforehand. He's going to be dealing quite a bit of damage here with the boulder as well.
He's getting outplayed.
Up until the point that Nike gets that second ability maxed out, you don't have the sustain that you really need to deal with the poke out of a Hercules.
Well, he's got a bit of wave clear now, but with that Earthbreaker driving strike, where's the boulder? Is it available? Maybe it'll come out now. No, boulder's on cooldown. Correct myself there. Otherwise, SkirmisHez definitely could have cleaned up the kill on Madman Mark yet again.
Look at the skin out of the Hercules. It's just
so
epic.
It is a good skin. Not gonna lie. Tell you what,
the sound.
Hey, Tony, there's some really good skins in this next patch, you know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You got the 411.
Yeah. You know I get the lowdown. I do patch notes, man.
Oh, okay.
Like I've seen some sneaky.
I might need you to hook me up later.
Trust me. All I'm gonna say is buy some gems.
Oof.
Or work a little bit harder so you win more gems.
That's true. That's 6 gems per.
Hey, you lost 6 gems, didn't you?
I did.
You lost 6 gems. I forgot about it. Sops might lose his life. The Dharmic Pillars from Shadowq will try and keep him alive. The Silence too, but Baskin doesn't care. One more in-hand will do it, but Shadowq manages to get in the way and keep Sops alive. Different story, though, could be said for the Oracles and maybe even the Gold Fury here.
Baskin got off the Devourer of Souls, but couldn't continue with the in-hand from a great interrupt out of Shadowq. That's the support life mentality that Shadowq has ever since he started playing with Team Dignitas.
Well, you can see SkirmisHez still level 7 in this lane up against the level 6 of Madman Mark. Duo lane BaRRa and Jeff are a little bit behind that of Shadowq and Sops right now as it stands. As you can see, Shadowq just a little bit further ahead than Jeff in the grand scheme of things. We'll see how this one continues, though.
Surprising different options here for these two supports. JeffHindla going for the Lonos Mask, trying to finish off those boots, where Shadowq already completed off his Bumba's Mask, and now going for Shoes of Focus, trying to get some very important cooldown reduction to spam some of those abilities.
Yeah, Mirage still only got tier 2 boots, as has Mask in the jungle now, so both the junglers would like to get themselves going and find themselves a couple of kills, but you want those extra power from those boots if you can find it. For now, it's all about farming.
Not able to really find the right angle to go and aggress towards the mid lane, instead allowing Flashpoint to maybe make this rotation around the Gold Fury, but with Luminosity having the vision around the Oracles, there's going to be no attempt for that one.
Surprisingly enough, Tully, I was surprised that Luminosity didn't look to do the Gold Fury after finding that pick earlier on. Instead, they just went for the Oracles, but I kind of like that, because if anything, they know with that Anubis, Flashpoint wanted to go for the early Gold Fury, so maybe bait them in. They're trying to burst this down quickly. The Trumpet Core could be available for Shadowq to try and steal. The boar is down too. Gold Fury goes to Luminosity, and they disengage. Everyone does, apart from Scary and Mask, who pick up a kill.
Shadowq gets dead here, and Mirage lands in the backline, barely able to take out JeffHindla in the process. SkirmisHez needs to find this driving strike, but it's on cooldown still. Here comes Madman Mark, but it's just going to be another clean disengage from the rest of the surviving members. side of Luminosity.
Credit where it's due, though. I said Mirage needs to step up and try and be the carry from the jungle. He's a little bit late to the fight, but his counter initiations of like trying to clean up the pieces have been good. He found that kill on skirmishes in the solo lane. 2 kills there. A lot of weight is on his back, especially when he looks at every single lane and realizes every lane is currently losing.
Too ambitious with skirmishes after the fact on that goal field.
That's
Baskin's
ambitious.
dash is down, and this is going to be
Too
full
ambitious.
on engaged. skirmishes with a teleport from the north and side. He only did about 40% of his health max, and hi-rez is going to heal that back up anyway.
I actually think MadManMark thought he could see a collapse coming from ManRay in the mid lane, and Mirage was there too, but the range was just too far out. They wouldn't get there in time, and if they did, his dive escape would have been available again.
And Mirage's ultimate was still on cooldown from that last encounter, so there was no real potential follow-up against Baskin. But I like the idea and the mindset because it's also a little bit of a damage check, trying to see how much burst this Nike has at this point in the game.
Surprisingly enough, I would have liked to see Baskin just turn around and continue boxing there, because I don't think there was any way he could have died. But a sustain as BaRRaCCuDDa will get the red buff. skirmishes now level 9, being given his blue by Mask. Mirage had the same sort of treatment. So I said Mirage, it was Shadowq over in the solo lane, helping out MadManMark a little bit, both at level 8.
Heading into the 8-minute mark here, Luminosity getting a little bit of a better end here compared to Flashpoint. That earlier goal fear was nice, but that aggression after the fact, killing Shadowq was just not worth it.
Blue buff goes to Flashpoint. I said goal view for some reason. The boulder gets blocked, but Shadowq's still in a hell of a lot of trouble. The elephant goes down, and now MadManMark still trying to give chase. Imagine if he had the ultimate, or ManRay and Mirage could get here in time. Mirage forced to ult, looks for Scary. Good ult, good wall to block. Great Mummify too. Ultimate used. Mirage credit for the kill at the end of the day.
Great rotation from ManRay, following up off of his jungler. The mobility has been a lot of trouble
Ultimate
here.
Mirage forced to beads away. ManRay gets hit by the walls from Jeff. Double route 2. Baskin looking to potentially follow up. Has no ultimate available, obviously. Wasn't able to find the kill, but he pushes 2 members of Flashpoint out there.
The one problem with hi-rez is despite all the damage that he does with that Pillar of Agony, you could just escape it with any of your abilities or the Purification beats. So if you're Baskin and Luminosity, you need to coordinate a strategy towards forcing the Purification beats out of Flashpoint before that Pillar of Agony.
Completely agree, and that's just buying a bit of a window here for Flashpoint. All 4 kills for Flashpoint on Mirage, on the Thor, has Brawler's Beat Stick online already. That's an important item. Nice bit of a power spike there for the cost efficiency. Not only that, you are a spammy god as Thor with your abilities, and reducing the healing of the enemy team going to be important when you're up against a Terra and a hi-rez. And not only that, there's also a Hercules.
A Hercules, and the self-sustain from the Retribution Shield from Mask will mitigate some of the damage, or some of that healing at least as well. So not a bad idea here to get that penetration item. Not going to have the cooldowns in the form of the Jotun's Wrath, an item that has been neglected quite recently by a lot of junglers, but instead still having a huge damage spike.
Well, MadManMark is a substitute here today so far. He's behind in his lane, as is ManRay in the mid, as is Sops in his lane. It's the 2 original members from last split for Flashpoint that are doing okay and staying even for the time being. MadManMark still being pressured and taking a boxing fight. He didn't know Mass was coming around the corner. Baited and outsmarted. Boulder is down. It only eats up the shield, and Luminosity will fall back before Flashpoint can try once again to turn it around.
Also clears the wave during that whole time, so that's not a bad position of a Boulder by skirmishes at all. Like, normally you want to be able to use abilities on the enemy god, but if you can hit the wave at the same time, that's when you're truly min-maxing your potential.
Portal Demon pulled by Luminosity here. MadManMark knows about it, as does Shadowq. Reset happens as Baskin is looking to cause issues for Shadowq. Trumpet Call was used by Shadow there, only hitting onto Baskin. And only MadManMark got a bit of a buff there from it, but it does force Luminosity to just fall back with the amount of members Flashpoint had hanging around.
And with a lot of this action transitioning towards the right side of the map, both hunters start to make these rotations towards the mid lane, but they don't commit towards the jungle side. They're like, all right, if it starts popping off in the jungle, I'll start rotating, but first, let me squeeze in this midway real quick.
skirmishes going to get his blue buff again. 3-3-3 with the Breastplate of Valor completed. MadManMark on that Nike will still be working on the laurels for as best as they can. I think the first laurel stack is at least online so far. But Flashpoint looking for a cheeky Portal Demon. Bad news is they know what's up, and that was a nice double tap from Mirage just to damage check. Once again, health check against skirmishes.
Especially with that physical protections from that Breastplate of Valor. Mitigate wounds will be able to top off skirmishes whenever he elects to go into that option there. Mask taking quite a bit of poke himself.
Nice little play from Sops on the left-hand side of the map that we just missed there. He got the oracles for free, now rotates towards the mid lane, but those oracles go in the way of Flashpoint, means that is a chance on this Gold Fury totally for them to look for that all-in burst yet again that they looked for in game 1.
The pull is good. The push is going to be held onto up until now. ManRay getting chunked here, already sitting at about half health. Mirage.
This is a bait. Mirage is waiting in the sky, looking for ScariD. The ult, the wall, the double tap is good. Spin to win. Driving strike is good from Scary, but it won't keep him alive. Luminosity, however, may look towards the Gold Fury. Bad news is Mask isn't really with them, so they're going to have to surrender that. Also, knowing the Oracle was given to Flashpoint.
Especially with ManRay still alive and in position with that Anubis. There's a lot of burst damage here for both teams rather. You're looking at the Pillar of Agony and the Suns from BaRRaCCuDDa for Luminosity, and then Shadowq with the Dynamic Pillars, ManRay with his ultimate. These are your 4 ultimates that you're looking at around gold.
Mark is overextended, trying to get a tier 1 tower. May get punished down, has the lead, but Mask was waiting with a dash. Baskin was looking to try and steal his kill away. Mask says, not this time, sunshine. Madman Mark is all mine.
It's all for Mask. Mask off, says the jungler out of Luminosity, securing that one for himself. Doing a great job playing this Nemesis.
Gold Fury, Gold Fury, Gold Fury. Call from Flashpoint early on. Frenzy's already popped. ManRay's on his way round 2. The Anubis laser beam of death is there. And the Gold Fury goes quickly towards Flashpoint. Shadowq gets credit for the kill. But ManRay's been caught in the jungle. And he will not live tonight.
ScariD gets credit with that one. Nice driving strike and the in-hand to follow up. But yet again, one team gets Gold Fury. The other benefits with a kill and could look for another objective.
Oh, it looks like Luminosity were thinking about going for the Portal Demon first, but they want to get the tier 1, rightly so. They can still roll around towards the Portal Demon. On top of that, Flashpoint have 2 members in the left-hand lane. They need to get that tier 1 tower for losing this Portal Demon here, otherwise it's not worthwhile.
Yeah, Luminosity, they thought to themselves, why not both? But this is what happens when you think, why not both? The teleport, can it be there in time?
It will, just about. Scary's here, but the tower does fall down. Scary versus 2 now, and Sops has no ultimate available. Mirage does, however. The boulder coming out, really looking to broke down Mirage, who's low on mana. Jeff comes in, but the root doesn't hit Mirage, who escapes, and Sops does too. Nice little bit of work from Flashpoint there to counteract the Portal Demon when they didn't have to lose it in the first place.
I swear, Jeff always has this spidey sense thing that's like, I need to be somewhere on the map right now. I'm going left lane. Who needs me?
That's all he is.
Every time I play with him in ranked, he's always in my lane at the right time. Like, I'm getting ganked from the jungler. Here comes JeffHindla.
Surprise support. Well, round 2 for Madman Mark. This time he brought Shadowq with him. Shadowq is going to meet Mask, and now Baskin, and now ScariD, and now JeffHindla. In the air goes the elephant. The silence works out for a minute or 2, but not long enough to keep himself alive. Madman has to leap back towards the tier 1 tower, but 4 members strong. Luminosity don't really care about backdooring it if required, or just diving for more minions and more picks.
They're just going to proxy between this tier 1 and tier 2, daring Flashpoint to stop them in the process, and just going to be able to secure themselves a tier 1 tower with all these minions starting to flood on in. They already got the tier 1 mid. They could have looked to transition towards the tier 1 on the right-hand side, but instead just looking to get any farm on the jungle side by getting these left side mid harpies instead.
I will say Sops has done a good job of keeping BaRRa in check so far in this lane. Keeping even pace against him is very important. But cast a curse once again. Double ricochet hits and the mass around the corner, and poor old Sops has no chance of this one.
Not at all.
I just jinxed him. I feel so bad. I was just like, hey, he's done a great job. Oh, no.
I mean, to be fair, that was a 3-man gank there onto Sops. Baskin caught in a 1v3 himself, but he's doing a good job buying some time here, just juking and weaving. He's going to heal for a little bit longer, but doesn't have for death from below available.
Meanwhile, though, Luminosity will get a tier 1 tower on the left-hand side. BaRRaCCuDDa was getting support from Jeff there and Mask to bring that one down. That's why Baskin was a little bit too far forward on his own. Talking about being on his own, Madman Mark's whole day has been pretty much on his own in that solo lane, being bullied out by ScariD. The dual lane of Luminosity looking for a little bit more damage onto that tier 2.
And a little bit more damage off of that ricochet just as the retreat happened from BaRRaCCuDDa. Finding the tier 1 on the left-hand side, sacrificing Baskin, but they killed Sops, which gives BaRRaCCuDDa more opportunities to outfarm his opposition.
Totally, it's not clean from Luminosity this set.
Not compared to the last one.
No, but I mean, it's not clean from them in their last couple of sets. Their sets have been really clean. I think this is them technically knowing their opposition is technically seen as weaker than them, playing down to them a little bit, having a bit more fun with it, being a bit more risky than they generally would be against higher opposition. And Flashpoint showing that they can actually compete if it's just a brawl all the time.
It's just not wanting to reveal a lot of their strategies. We're in week number 3 out of 5 in the SPL here, and with the 2 more weeks to go, it's not a time for Luminosity to reveal everything that they have, especially against a team that has no victories in the SPL.
I completely agree, and that's the situation Flashpoint still find themselves in here. Replacing Sanguine from the spring split, pretty much, in that department. There's always going to be one. There's always going to be a team that has a bad split and is frowned upon or looked at as the weakest team. It's just natural, it seems. We used to have, we've had Randozos, we've had Thirst, we've had Sanguine,
Myrmidons.
We've had Justice, we've had Myrmidons, we had Justice again, we had Justice a 3rd time, and then finally they got kicked out of the league. Oh, the dream, that was so good. I'm sorry, I was just sick of seeing Justice get beat every week. It still hurts.
That was before my time as a caster, so I don't really feel you on that one.
Without offending Flashpoint too much, imagine watching Flashpoint lose every single game for 3 seasons straight.
That's pretty bad, but
it's rough.
It's pretty bad for Flashpoints to have to retreat under their tier 2 tower. Baskin catching 2 under the Pillar of Agony.
The sun's come down from BaRRA. He looks like a hero, but he did nothing in that fight. That was all Baskin with the blink and ultimate to set up that play. Luminosity get 2 kills. Mask went a little bit too greedy, though. Deserves to pay the price. Luminosity can't continue with losing their jungler, so instead they can fall back to the Oracles and the soon-to-be spawning Go Fury.
We've seen a lot of junglers switch from Sunder to the Bracer of Undoing, but this time around, Mask, wishing he probably did that switch himself. That could have probably got him into the safety of his teammates.
That's true. Or Thorns.
Or Thorns.
Or just kill ManRay. Like, make ManRay kill himself. I just want to see ManRay kill himself.
You just love Thorns in general.
I just like the idea of Anubis killing himself, okay? By killing himself on Thorns. There's nothing more fun than killing a mage with his own ability.
You know what was the best was whenever back in Season 3, you would go hide on the Nemean line, and you would go Thorns against Freya's. Because back then, Thorns, you would stop the lifesteal as well.
Oh, would you?
Yes. And Freya wouldn't be able to lifesteal off of her shot, so she hits you 4 times, and she's pretty much dead.
Do you remember that game when Kuzumbo all-in and just ate an ultimate from someone and killed them?
Yes.
I was going to say me neither because it's never happened because Kuzumbo doesn't get paid in the Pro League.
Well, I remember a specific VOD from Aurora.
I wish it would, though. Yeah, I know. I just want to see Kuzumbo. Scary, he's getting all in for a second, but he is the man-mounted Hercules. Commitment from Mirage, who goes up, ults in place onto Scary and Mask. Mask going to survive thanks to the shield coming through. Mirage wants it with a double tap but can't find it. So now Baskin's going to give chase. No, he's got no escape. The beads are forced out. Baskin still wants to pick, but Baskin's overextended, looking for the kill. No support from his team. Hades is going back to the underworld. Not the way he'd like to. Just the rest of his teammates not able to follow up there. Nice little damage from Mirage, able to retreat now. The damage from Mirage is there, but Baskin understands his own damage, just doesn't have the cooldown reduction necessary to engage offensively the way he did. And this is the difference between LG against a higher team and not. They're making a lot of silly mistakes that you wouldn't normally expect here. Baskin falling down for free gives Flashpoint a power play in terms of members, at least. Ooh. In terms of golden experience, different story. Calm down, BaRRA.
BaRRaCCuDDa just lining up the shot, finds the hit onto 2. No problem.
It wasn't that good. He's just trying to show that he's trying to like put people down who are really good at the Hou-Yi now.
Trying to find sops as well, right behind the fire giant. Now it's just like target fire.
He's got nothing else to do.
He's doing it again. Watch.
Who's he gonna go for? No, he's warding.
Okay. I thought he was just like lining up a shot.
Well, he's just continuing to stand here because nobody else is coming around. Still looking for the cheeky shots. Feels like LG are kind of having a bit more fun with this one than you would normally expect.
So by BaRRaCCuDDa being here, he's not doing this just for fun. He's actually just waiting for his teammates to get back into position for his teammates to start a Portal Demon. So he's thinking to himself, like, all right, while I wait here, like, what can I do that is somewhat productive, right? Let's go for some poke damage. So therefore, once my teammates are here, that if the team fight does happen from Flashpoint, they'll be a little chipped down and we'll have an easier task.
I guess what I think he's actually doing is he's standing at the Fire Giant Portal Demon, throwing the ricochets out and pressing T after every one. Going, am I top player damage now? No. Okay. Fire another one. Okay, am I top player damage now? And he'll find out that he's very high on the player damage this game, Toli. He's so close to the top.
He's so close.
So close.
So close.
So close.
Yet so far. Look at Jeff.
Not as far as Jeff, though.
I mean, that's a Terra.
It is a Terra.
That's a Terra support. Like, you can't even be mad at that.
It is a Terra. 11-8, 21 minutes approaching now. Luminosity have about 3,000 gold lead as it stands here. Game's kind of slowed down because Luminosity, after losing Baskin, didn't really know that they could fight 5v4, so they slowed down for a second. They're still comfortable enough in their own confidence to start the Portal Demon up, with 4 members of Flashpoint waiting and Mirage missing.
They have some experience advantage here on a few of their gods here, specifically on Hercules. Mirage into the sky. Girdle means go. Diving into the backline. ManRay gets taken out, though, by BaRRaCCuDDa.
Girdle means go. ManRay means no. Mirage means peace out. Baskin takes him down. skirmishes giving chase for sops. Baskin blinks to the back again and keeps them all trapped in place. The boulder comes through as skirmishes and Mass pick up a kill each. And now Madman Mark, the last man standing, still has his ultimate available. And he's against the world now, or at least just skirmishes, as the Fire Giant is started by Luminosity.
Luminosity trying to close out the second game of this set. They found the first victory in 20 minutes and 9 seconds worth of action here. Heading into the 22-minute mark, this is looking like a very short game as well.
Yeah, I completely agree here. Madman Mark still fighting 2 leaps away to save his life for a moment. But now with all 5 members of Luminosity grouping up together, the tier 2 will fall on the right. Can they go straight for the Phoenix here, Toli?
With the members, with all 5 members that are about to respawn here for Flashpoint, it's not going to be the easiest time in the world for them. I think Luminosity are going to start being more or less risky now and be more calculating about how they're going to go about closing this game out with their Fire Giant buff.
Let's check in with BaRRaCCuDDa's player damage after that little fight and see if he actually has moved. Oh, he moved up above ManRay. One higher.
There you go. He's climbing.
Slowly but surely, like all Hunters generally do.
Hunters definitely come online in the later stages. He's now almost finished off all the stacks from his Rage, working on the Deathbringer, and that's going to be a huge power spike play if he just finds one more assist. Yeah,
definitely. Just because that assist will give him enough for the 5 stacks, which gives you the extra crit, and the Deathbringer is probably going to be finished alongside that relatively soon too. Gold Fury is about to spawn, flashing away, 5 seconds, and she begins to land down. Only 2 tier 2 towers remaining for Luminosity to look to take from Flashpoint's side of the map. Might as well just strip all the objectives on the way.
Yeah, with this Gold Fury and 2 tier 2 towers taken off the board here, Luminosity can extend their advantage to not just 9,000 that they have now, to about that 12,000 marker.
Red buff falls down as well. Nobody wants to pick it up, however.
Too risky.
Nobody wanted that red buff.
Too risky.
Baskin's not got. Well, Baskin, go get the red.
Maybe they're gonna bait out Flashpoints. Like, hey, look, here's a red buff.
Okay, maybe I think he thought maybe BaRRaCCuDDa was with them or something, so they'll give it to BaRRa, but, you know, once BaRRa's not there, they can actually get a red buff.
Baskin picking it up for himself, going for a very tanky build. The Dynasty played him on Voidstone and Height of Nemi in line, recognizing he will be a sitting duck during that ultimate to just bait out the shots from sops.
Completely agree, and the magical damage from Baskin, he's the only real magical on this team when you look at Terra's damage, but he's doing a good job of this, Tully, even though, you know, he's gone for a more tanky option over damage.
And the funny thing is, for Baskin to play Hades is the fact that Hades used to be a soul lane god all the time, so he's still in his comfort zone the way he's building.
Dharmic Pillars down, silence from Shadowq used too early on. Sun's now dropped in response from BaRRaCCuDDa, but in comes Mirage into a wild storm of death. Shadowq's already taken off the map. Sops falls back. Madman Mark, the last one to join his team, going to make sure Mass may fall down, but Baskin's there yet again with a blink and the ultimate to try and put Madman Mark in an awkward spot. The sustain from Terra's going to come into play a little bit here as Sops gets Earthbreaker back in by skirmishes. BaRRa's looking for the autos, wants the kill on Sops, but skirmishes will deny him another kill.
ManRay trying to do a little bit of what he can here. Tier 2 in mid does fall. There's 3 members dead here from Flashpoint. They need to hold off against all 5 Luminosity with Fire Giant.
ManRay standing in place, good damage, but the shield from Mass comes up in time to save his life. And the Titan, BaRRa wants the Titan.
This is it. This is the call from the veteran BaRRaCCuDDa. This Titan is melting here. The second game going in the way of Luminosity.
Well, let's see if they can find Mirage. It definitely will. They're chasing kills right now, trying to get that player damage up, shockingly enough. Titan falls, Luminosity 2-0 in under 40 minutes total of gameplay. Under 50 minutes total of gameplay.
And now they're going to climb the standings here, going from 7 to 10. They're going to be the top of the North America standings here, trying to secure their spot into Valencia.
So game 2, what technically was the difference there? I mean, it was all LG all the way it really felt like. Solo lane yet again, Madman Mark on the Nike, didn't really get anything going. Rough for a substitute to come in, though, against LG.
Yeah, normally
easy.
the picks and bans was a little awkward to me personally because they first picked Nike and then they last pick Anubis in both games. For a good reason though, they made it work in terms of getting the Gold Fury the way they wanted to, but it didn't translate towards getting multiple Gold Furies.
That's true. That's true. They got that first one game 1, but a different story in game 2. Awkward situation there for them. But BaRRaCCuDDa on the Hercules that game had a pretty good game 1. Game 2 brought out the man mounted himself with the nice big sword and caused a couple of problems.
He just was not worried about anything, honestly, just all over the map. These boulders have just been on point, honestly.
Tell you what, Shadowq saved himself there. That dynamic pillar will prevent the boulder, so he only got hit twice. It would have been a third hit if it would have hit the back wall, I think, overall. Yeah, well played there. But BaRRaCCuDDa still cleaning him up as time went on.
Just no fear from this young soul laner that's made such a great transition here in Luminosity compared to his first showing at that group land stage.
Oh yeah, well it shows anyone can still grow as time goes on. We're playing in the SPL. But that's 3 sets down, 1 more to go. We'll be back after the break with set 4 of today.